Have you ever noticed that when you visit a village or a countryside area, the air feels cooler, fresher, and more comfortable, but when you come back to the city, especially during summer, the heat feels much more intense and sometimes even unbearable? Hello everyone, today I am going to talk about a very interesting, important, and real-life topic, which is the temperature difference between urban and rural areas, or in simple words, why cities are hotter than villages. This is not just your imagination, but a real scientific phenomenon that affects millions of people around the world. In simple terms, urban areas, which we call cities, are generally hotter than rural areas, which are villages, and studies have shown that the temperature in cities can be around 2 to 5 degrees Celsius higher than nearby rural areas, and sometimes even more depending on the level of urbanization. This temperature difference becomes especially noticeable at night because rural areas cool down faster, while cities remain warm for a longer time. This phenomenon is known as the urban heat island effect, which means that cities behave like islands of heat surrounded by cooler rural regions. This effect is mainly caused by human activities, infrastructure, and changes in the natural environment. One of the biggest reasons for this temperature difference is the presence of concrete, cement, asphalt, and other construction materials in cities. Buildings, roads, bridges, and parking lots absorb a large amount of heat from sunlight during the day and store it, and then slowly release this heat at night, which prevents the temperature from dropping quickly. This is why even at night, cities feel warmer compared to villages. Another important factor is the lack of greenery in urban areas. Trees and plants play a very important role in cooling the environment by providing shade and through a process called transpiration, where water evaporates from leaves and cools the surrounding air. However, due to rapid urban development, many trees are cut down to make space for buildings and roads, which reduces this natural cooling effect. On the other hand, rural areas have more trees, farms, grasslands, and open spaces, which help in maintaining a lower temperature and provide a more comfortable environment. Another major reason is pollution and human activities. Cities have a large number of vehicles, industries, and machines that release heat into the environment. Cars, buses, trucks, factories, and even air conditioners produce heat as a byproduct, which adds to the overall temperature. Air conditioners, while cooling indoor spaces, actually release heat outside, making the outdoor environment even warmer. In addition to heat, these sources also release pollutants into the air, which can trap heat and increase the temperature further. Rural areas, in comparison, have fewer vehicles and industries, so the level of pollution is much lower, and the air remains cleaner and cooler. Another important factor is the presence of water bodies. Rural areas often have rivers, lakes, ponds, and fields with moisture, which help in cooling the air through evaporation. In cities, these natural water bodies are often replaced by buildings and roads, reducing the cooling effect. Moreover, the layout and design of cities also play a role. Tall buildings and narrow streets can trap heat and reduce airflow, making the environment feel even hotter. This is sometimes referred to as the urban canyon effect, where heat gets trapped between buildings and cannot escape easily. In contrast, rural areas have open spaces that allow better air circulation, helping heat to dissipate more quickly. This temperature difference has several impacts on daily life. In urban areas, higher temperatures can lead to discomfort, increased use of electricity due to fans and air conditioners, and higher energy costs. It can also cause serious health problems such as dehydration, heat exhaustion, and heat stroke, especially during heat waves. For students, this becomes an important issue because excessive heat can reduce concentration, increase fatigue, and make it difficult to study effectively. A cooler and more natural environment, like in rural areas, is generally more comfortable for learning and physical activity. The urban heat island effect also has environmental impacts. It contributes to global warming, increases greenhouse gas emissions due to higher energy consumption, and affects local weather patterns. It can even reduce air quality and harm plants and animals living in urban areas. Understanding this problem is important so that we can take steps to reduce it. There are several solutions that can help lower the temperature in cities and make them more livable. One of the most effective solutions is planting more trees and increasing green cover in urban areas. Trees not only provide shade but also help in cooling the air and improving air quality. Creating parks, gardens, and green roofs can also make a big difference. Another solution is using eco-friendly and reflective building materials that absorb less heat, such as cool roofs and light-colored surfaces. Reducing pollution is also very important, which can be done by using public transport, cycling, walking, or switching to electric vehicles. Improving city planning by increasing open spaces and ensuring proper airflow can also help reduce heat buildup. Water conservation and restoring natural water bodies in cities can further enhance cooling. Governments, organizations, and individuals all have a role to play in solving this problem. Even small actions, like planting a tree or reducing energy use, can contribute to a cooler environment. In conclusion, the temperature difference between urban and rural areas is mainly caused by factors such as concrete structures, lack of greenery, pollution, and human activities, while rural areas remain cooler due to natural elements like trees, open land, and water bodies. The urban heat island effect is a serious issue, but with awareness and proper actions, we can reduce its impact and create healthier and more comfortable cities for the future. Thank you.